Now on 12 News at 11, stopping the spread, one local county enforcing the COVID-19 mandates. And creativity in quarantine, inventors making products we can use during the pandemic. Plus, rolling back environmental regulations, why President Trump claims it's holding back the country's economy. 12 News at 11 starts right now.
From WBNG, your weather authority, this is 12 News at 11.
Right now at 11, COVID cases on the rise in Broome County, and officials say they're ramping up measures to stop the spread. Good evening, and that means enforcing COVID-19 guidelines. And along with that, Broome County Executive Jason Garner now restarting his weekly briefings exactly 4 months after the first confirmed case in the county. Now up to 125 active cases. Garner tells us county fire investigators will be checking on businesses potentially violating COVID-19 guidelines. This while New York State has launched an online complaint form that you can file reporting any violations from social distancing to not wearing masks. Those complaints go directly to the county, and Garner says they are prepared to work side by side with businesses to make sure they're following all safety guidelines.
We got a few businesses that, for whatever reason, don't want to do that, and they are the ones that are the problems. And it's hurting the other businesses, and it's really hurting the community. So, for the most part, the majority of our businesses aren't going to get affected by these new policies.
Now, the Office of Emergency Services Fire Investigation Bureau, they're going to have 6 officers making these unannounced spot check visits. Garner says most businesses are complying, but the few that aren't have the potential to increase spreading the virus. Meantime, the Binghamton Chamber of Commerce also telling us they've been working with businesses to make sure the county moves forwards, not backwards, in the reopening process.
We have to keep that momentum going. Our area cannot afford to go back, and we can't afford to have businesses closed, to reduce the number of employees again, reduce their hours.
Garner says around 50% of cases are in the community, with the other half in nursing home facilities. If you see a violation of health guidelines and would like to file a complaint, we have the link. It's right on our website, WBNG.com. Right now in Broome County, the number of active coronavirus cases, as we told you, stands at 125. The town of Vestal with 51 of those confirmed cases. The city of Binghamton with 23. And since the health department has been tracking cases in the county, a total of 815 confirmed cases with 632 people recovered. 58 people have died from the virus. You can see all the numbers and information in real time on our website, WBNG.com, under coronavirus. We turn tonight to Tioga County, where the number of current confirmed cases stands at 165, with 63 people in mandatory quarantine in the county. Now, since they've been tracking cases there, 131 people have recovered, while 24 people have died from the virus. A change of plans for the Oakdale Mall. They've had to postpone their reopening. According to their Facebook page, the filters that the mall needs in order to safely reopen, those air filters, they're on back order because of the high demand. Once the new filters do arrive, the mall says it will have a more clear idea for when they can reopen to the public. Changes coming to Pennsylvania in just about an hour now. At midnight, Governor Tom Wolf's administration announcing a new measure on limits to bar and restaurant capacity, as well as gatherings, all to limit the spread of COVID-19. On the list here, alcohol can only be served in the same transaction with a meal. Indoor dining limited to 25% capacity, and indoor events and gatherings of more than 25 people are against the law. As COVID-19 races across major parts of the Sun Belt, Florida's cases have shot up by more than 100,000 in 10 days alone, reaching a really grim new threshold. The state joining New York and California as the third state to cross the 300,000 mark for the number of cases. Citing a surge in Alabama, the governor there, Kay Ivey, mandated face coverings statewide until the end of July. Take a listen.
We are almost to the point where our hospital ICU is overwhelmed. The numbers just do not lie.
41 states, take a look at the map there, now seeing spikes in the virus. More than 67,000 new cases reported nationwide in just 24 hours alone, yet another one-day record. All right, talking about records, maybe a possible one here, and not from me seeing this graphic, Howard, of all that red, but the temperatures. Yeah. Wow, what a change.
Yeah, it's going to get smoking hot this weekend. Saturday going to be warm, but Sunday will be very warm. Those were potential temperatures you were looking at there. But actual temperatures, 60s, low 70s right now, quite comfortable. Looking at the radar and satellite, some rain through Michigan down to Indiana and Illinois as well. That little system is going to spawn a low pressure system into the area tomorrow, western New York way anyhow. And we could maybe get into a little bit of shower activity, maybe a thunderstorm as well. We'll talk about that in detail coming up. 70 right now, south-southeast wind at 7. Looking at the morning forecast. Not tomorrow morning, though. We're dry. Some sunshine, some clouds, right around 70 degrees through 10 o'clock.
All right, Howard, tonight a promising development in the search for a coronavirus vaccine. Every single one of the volunteers, part of the first COVID-19 vaccine tested here in the U.S., showing an immune response. That, according to researchers, the experimental vaccine developed by the company Moderna and as well as the National Institutes of Health. The team reporting in the New England Journal of Medicine that the 45 people who received it now have so-called neutralizing antibodies, and they are key to blocking infection.
This is a 2-dose vaccine, and there were some people who had sore arms and a little bit of fever and some fatigue, etc. The small price to pay for protection against COVID, I would think.
The next testing phase will also help determine whether there are potentially more serious side effects. Nearly 24 possible COVID-19s are in various stages of testing right now around the world. U.S. Marines taking the fight to the coronavirus, taking part in a comprehensive study on how it spreads among young people. A group of Marines in training taking on their first battle, and it is a big one at that, COVID-19. Immunologist Andrew Letizia is a Navy commander, and he's leading a deep dive into why young people like the Marine group fight off COVID better than most. For the military, the virus threat can lurk anywhere.
Trying to figure out who makes antibodies? Does everybody make antibodies? How robust is that antibody response in order to identify the virus and effectively neutralize it in the future? I think some of the questions that we're really attempting to answer will help in the reopening of America.
And like any successful battle plan, here's the key: know your enemy. These researchers also help their study, may help develop the next frontier of medicines as well as vaccines to fight the coronavirus. The U.S.-Mexico land border likely to remain closed well into August for any tourists wanting to visit, but flights still taking place between the two countries, at least for now. The border has been closed for travelers since late March. And tonight, criticism coming amid the Trump administration's apparent campaign to discredit one of the nation's top medical experts, all during the pandemic. The Infectious Diseases Society of America calling the effort, quote, disturbing. Dr. Anthony Fauci now facing editorial cartoons posted by the president's social media director, as well as the president himself retweeting a former game show host, accusing him, as well as other public health officials, of lying about the virus.
It's difficult, to give you a definitive answer, except that for the most part, I believe, for the most part, you can trust respected medical authorities. I believe I'm one of them, so I think you can trust me.
Less than a month ago, June 16th, the Vice President, Mike Pence, wrote an op-ed piece in the Wall Street Journal. In it, he accused the media of hyping ongoing dangers of the pandemic, saying that panic over a so-called second wave was, quote, overblown. Well, the coronavirus pandemic has led to a number of innovations. That includes new products meant to help us avoid the virus. And tonight, Michael George has an in-depth look.
These days, it's not only fashionable to wear a mask, protecting your hands inspired this accessory.
It's very simple. It stays on your wrist, you pull it down, and then you pull it back up.
Nicola Galati is president of the company that developed the glove. It comes in various colors and offers an antimicrobial barrier between your hands and surfaces.
It is washable, reusable, and so it's very sustainable.
If the glove isn't your style, a British inventor came up with the hygiene hook, which can be used to open or shut doors. This high-tech device keeps you from touching your mouth or face. The bracelet vibrates if you move your hands in that direction. And wearing a mask doesn't have to mean hiding your face. The company Clear Mask says its single-use plastic mask lets air flow on the sides and won't fog up. A business in Belgium is offering a different option, a mask with a picture of your face on it. The Cheesebox company uses a camera to capture the image and then prints it out. Customers can also use an app to take a photo and have the $22 mask delivered. Workers at a Brussels restaurant are sporting the look.
Les gens trouvent ça très amusant, ça les amuse.
Customers find it fun, this server says. It's also a way for people to protect and express themselves at the same time. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
We really think it is an obvious need for hospitals to have access to instant contactless delivery so that they can extend the reach of healthcare systems into patients' homes.
And apparently that's why everyone on Earth should be between 15 and 30 minutes away from a drone delivery. That's a sky-high ambition right now from Zipline, a company that's now flying PPE within the U.S. Zipline perfected the system in Ghana in Africa, where it claims to deliver 70% of the national blood supply outside of the country's capital. The journey begins at a fulfillment center at North Carolina. That's where a packet of PPE is loaded and launched. 32 miles later, it drops the supplies using a parachute. The world's most well-known street artist strikes again. Banksy, yes, leaving a message for commuters on London's Tube, the subway there, as face masks will soon become mandatory for shoppers and commuters in the UK. The elusive artist sprang the importance of wearing a mask. His famous rats shooting green snot in artwork titled, "If you don't mask, you don't get." Commuters a bit surprised to see the famous artist, but it isn't the first time Banksy has presented a pandemic painting. Transit authorities, though, say the paint has since been removed. It's in line with its strict anti-graffiti policy. And throughout the pandemic, people around the southern tier have tried to find ways to make the days a little brighter. One Sydney woman is doing just that with her artwork. There she is. Carrie Soto came up with the idea to draw with chalk on the sidewalk of her apartment complex, all to help entertain the kids back in March. Since then, her work has gotten more complex and gotten a whole lot more attention. Tomorrow on 12 News This Morning, how Soto's work is helping draw smiles to people's faces. Still to come tonight on 12 News at 11, take a look at this. A North Carolina firefighter working out for a good reason, and as it turns out, it paid off. Now he's got a big record to his name. We're going to find out what that is after the break. But first, a live look tonight at downtown Binghamton from the Security Mutual building. About 70 degrees out right now, Howard says. How's going to be shaping up for the entire week? And we know Howard's always ready to look at the weekend. He'll have that forecast when we come back.